Hello and welcome to Module 3 Lesson 4, and in this module I'm going to show you how I create the images for my blog posts using a tool called Canva. Now you may well have heard of Canva already. It's a very popular tool in the blogging and business world for a good reason. It's absolutely fantastic and I wouldn't be without it. So what you can see here is my kind of home screen for Canva. Now you can sign up for a free account, which is exactly what I did, and I used that free account for several years. I have now just recently signed up for a paid account, which is around £12 a month, I think, maybe £12.50, and that just gives you a few little extra benefits. You can save your brand colours. There's a bit of a wider choice of images and so on that you can choose from, but the free is brilliant and absolutely adequate for your needs, if you don't want to pay out the £12 or whatever it is for your monthly subscription. So this is Canva. So this is the tool that I use to actually create the finished image. But before I do that, I have to find the kind of base image that I want to work with. There are several ways that you can do that. Of course, you can take your own photo. You can take your own picture. If you have something like a food blog or a beauty blog or a travel blog, you may well want to do that because you want to show the image of what you're actually talking about. For something more like business, coaching, and a lot of these other areas, then it might be much easier for you to use a stock photo. So I'm going to start off by showing you my two favourite sites for getting stock photos. So the first one is a site called Pexels, and this has a massive choice of really high quality free stock photos. So you can search by keywords. You can search here. If you go up to the browse section, you can there are different areas you can browse as well. One of my favourite searches is this one here, which is photos by colour. And the reason for that is that you don't just need to pick one of these colours, you can actually add a colour code. So what I do is I get the code for one of my brand colours. So let's use this mid blue, for example, and you can pop that in here. And then what that does is it brings back all the pictures that have that colour as a sort of key colour in it, which is fantastic because it allows you to find pictures which are going to match your own branding. So that's a really handy little tool, and it's not one that a lot of the kind of stock photo sites seem to have. So that's one of the reasons I really love Pexels. So the other site that I use is Shutterstock. Now this one tends to be more paid photos, and I actually pay a subscription. I pay £22.80 per month, and for that I get 10 photos per month, which for my needs is absolutely adequate. I tend to only use Shutterstock if I want something like super professional looking, or if the other free sites don't have anything that I'm happy with. Then Shutterstock tends to have a much wider range because it is paid. So again, you can see you can search by image type, you can search by colour again, although I haven't found a way with Shutterstock for you to actually enter the code, which is interesting. So I think it is a case of picking one of these. You can search by if you want people in your image. There's great detailed search categories that you can use here. So it is a fantastic tool. So those are the two tools that I tend to use to get my kind of base picture, and then once I have that picture, I then go into Canva and I start to kind of edit it for my needs. So each time I create a blog post, I will create a number of images for that post, because I'll create an image for the post itself, sometimes more than one, depending on the post, and then I'll create separate images for all the social media channels that I want to promote it on. And that's why Canva is such an excellent tool, because you can select the templates. You can see above the top here, and there's actually a wider range than this as well. So for example, if I go into create a design, you can see here it gives you all the different templates that you can choose from, and there are so many. And then you basically, that gives you the right sizes and dimensions for whatever channel that you're using. So these are kind of your templates. What I have here are all the previous designs that I've already made, and so what I tend to do is I'll go into one of these templates because it already has all my kind of settings. So once you've created one Facebook image, you can use your brand colours and a sort of certain look and feel that you like. You can then keep those consistent by using that same template again for your next post. So it just helps to add a little bit of consistency, and of course it saves you some time. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say I'm writing a post about how to boost your confidence, let's say. Not the best headline ever, but let's go with it for the sake of this lesson. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find a nice image that reflects boost confidence. So let's have a look in here. Oops. Okay, there's some lovely ones there. So I like the look of this one. If there was nothing here that I like the look of, then that's when I would tend to go into Shutterstock to see if there's anything here, but there's more choice. Let's have a look in here as well. Oops. Okay, so you've got a nice selection there as well. I like this one. That's quite a nice one, isn't it? But for the purpose of this lesson, I'm going to use one of the free ones. So I'm going to pop this one here. So this is the time where you just want to check over here the license. So generally speaking, they will be as this one is, which is free for personal and commercial use with no attribution required, which basically means you don't have to state where the photos come from or who's taken the photo. You can just use it, which is exactly what we want. So you can see here it says free download. So you can either pick large, small, medium, custom size. So I'm just going to go with, oopsie daisy, I'm just going to go with the original, and then we can resize it from there. So that's downloading down here, as you can see, and now I can go and upload that into Canva. So I'm going to, we'll start from scratch. So let's say I want to create my blog title. So I click on the blog title template, and it brings up that template here. Then it gives you a number of kind of examples that you can choose from. So you can kind of scroll through these to find a design that you like the look of. So let's see, what do we like the look of here? And you can see that some are free and some are paid. Now I have more free because I'm already paying for the monthly subscription. If you're on the free subscription, then a few more of these might be paid, if that makes sense. So let's just go with this first one here. Okay, so that's our kind of starting design. The next thing I want to do is actually upload the image that we've just found. So I'll go into my downloads. There it is. And you can see it just loading, so you just wait for that green bar to fill up, or for the little arrow to get full of blue here. And once that's done, you can carry on. There it is, nearly ready. There we go. So then it's just a case of dragging it over here, and you'll see it then replaces the image that was there originally. Okay, so then you can start to play with it. Now that you'll see along the top, there are a few bits and bobs that you can do. So first of all, you've got your filter. So you can decide what filter. Now I tend to use the same filter every time for my blog posts, so that they all have that same look and feel. So I tend to use the Nordic filter, but there are tons, and you can see just how it changes the way that image looks. So pick what looks right for your own branding, but for me I shall go with Nordic. Okay, and then you can start to play around with your text. So we were calling this how to improve your confidence, weren't we, or something like that. How to improve oopsie daisy, improve your confidence. Now you can see that's kind of taken up the whole site, and you can also see it doesn't really look that visible because of the kind of white background as well. So I'm going to change the colour, and I think I'm going to make it this nice sort of grey colour. Let's have a look at that, see if that stands out a bit more. Maybe something a bit brighter. Let's go for one of my brand colours. Maybe this yellow will stand out a bit more. That looks a bit more. And now I also want to change the font. So I'm going to change it to one of my brand fonts. Let's try this one. Okay, and I want to move it a little bit. And you can basically just have a little play around, and you can see this other bit of text that's left. I'm just going to get rid of that. And there you go. It still doesn't look very bright, so let's change that. Let's just go with black. Oh, that stands out a bit more. And so you can play around, and you can kind of see what works for you. And there you go. Now, if you want to move the image around, you can click on crop. Now, as it happens, this pretty much fits in. But say I wanted to kind of move that down and show a bit more sky. I could just do that and then click on the tick there. So you can jiggle your image around as well. So that's basically it. So you've created your image. So then all you do is you can name it here if you want to change the name there. So I could just say I'm just going to call this Confidence. Click on done, and then you can download it by downloading it here, and you can obviously choose how you want to download it. You can download it as a PNG, which for images I would normally do. I also use Canva to create lead magnets, and in fact the workbooks in this course were created in Canva. So in those instances you'd probably download them as PDFs. So then you just hit download, and from there your image is ready to use on your blog. So while that's downloading, so for example I've done my blog title. Then all I would do is I want to create a Facebook post as well. So I would open the Facebook post and I would go through the exact same process. So my image is already there because I've already uploaded it. So I just pick my layout that I want. So you could either go with the same layout or you could go with something completely different. And you just go through that same process again. And as you can see, you can do the same for Instagram, you can do it for Pinterest, you can do it for Twitter. You can create YouTube thumbnails. There are so many options here. They are almost endless. So it's a fantastic tool, and I definitely recommend you having a little play. And so that's how I create my images. I hope you found that helpful. This is also the end of module 3. So let me know how you've got on. If you have any questions, come and let me know in the Facebook group. Or drop me an email, and I will see you next week for module 4. Bye.